Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Fun Fold Friday. I can't believe it is the end of the month. Can you? Summer has just flown by. I can't get over that. So tonight I am going to introduce you to a new suite that is found in the upcoming mini catalog. And we are going to make a card with it. So I hope you are ready for some fun tonight. So let me just make sure all of my lights are in the right direction. There we go. It just seems a little dark. All right, so I'm going to be using one of the stamp sets I'm going to be using tonight is Simply Said, and I'm using it just for the hello. And you've seen me use that quite a bit this summer, but the suite that we are using is called the Splendid Autumn Suite Collection, and it has the bundle called Autumn Expressions. You can see some absolutely beautiful sentiments and a few images to stamp. It is a cling stamp set, so that means it's a rubber stamp set. It comes with a set of dies, and these are the dies. And this cool die here I'm going to show you tonight, it is something that we could actually use this die here and this die and create a little purse out of it. I'll show you that one night. But it also creates this incredible frame. And we're not going to be using the frame tonight. We're going to be using one of the pieces that cut out. Along with this set, of course, there is some designer series paper, and this is just beautiful. It is called Splendid Autumn, and it is 6x6, and there are 48 sheets. So let me just share with you these papers. I'll turn them so you can see both sides. So you get the beautiful scenery, and then a beautiful piece, a beautiful color in the background. And let me actually trade that one out for this one, because I want to keep the ones at the end, the ones that I'm using tonight. So I just love this just reminds me of Impressionist paintings. And it all is just so pretty. I'll tell you the colors that are found in it in just a moment. Here you have some beautiful purples, some beautiful yellows and reddish, rustish, orange. Another beautiful scene. So just some really pretty colors and pictures. So one side has just that washed single color look, and then you have the images on the other. These are the two pieces that we're going to use tonight. I'm going to use this side. The other side has wild wheat on it, and I'm going to be using this side, which is the Cajun Craze. So that is that. The colors that match this are Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue, Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Garden Green, Moody Mauve, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pumpkin Pie, and Wild Wheat. So some great color combinations you can get. Also with this suite, you get this Wild Wheat ribbon. Just hold it up so you can see it. It's really pretty. I really like it a lot. I'm not using this tonight, but I wanted to be able to show it to you. Also, it has a set of gems. These are called the Faux Glass Dots. And we have the Cajun Craze, the Old Olive, the Crushed Curry, and there's one more color in here. And the Pumpkin Pie. So you get 4 different colors, 2 different sizes, and there's a total of 200 gems on this sheet. So we'll be using this tonight, so let me just set that aside. And then we have these beautiful woven gold leaves. Let me just hold one up for you to see a little closer. Let me put my hand under it and see if that makes it easier to see. But it's woven gold. It feels like it has, it's not like wire, but with the wovenness, it feels that way, like it's little gold wire, but it's cool. And then the other thing that I'm using tonight is, this is the Natural Tones linen thread. It goes with another set, but the copper clay is close to the Cajun Craze, so I'm going to be using this on the front of our card. And the card we're going to be making tonight is a tri-fold accordion fun fold card. And this is it here. And it's going to open like this, where you have the 3 panels. So, kind of perfect. I love it. Now, let's talk about what we're going to be using. We'll leave that right there. You are going to need a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 2 1/8 by 3 7/8. For for designer series paper, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 4 by 4. No, excuse me, 2 pieces that measure 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then 1 piece that measures 5/8, I believe. Let me just look at that. Yes, 5/8 by 3 7/8. So I just cut an extra piece off of this. You are going to need some crushed curry cardstock. You're going to need, these are the 4 by 4. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 4 by 4, and you're going to need 1 piece that is 2 1/4 inches by 4. And just to remind you, I will be putting these measurements in the comments under the Facebook post, and I will be putting them in the description on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find them. You're going to need some scraps of crushed curry to die cut the frame. I am only going to use, so both of these are 2 different sizes. So you get 2 labels that come out, and this is the bigger one. I'm not going to be using the bigger one tonight, but I am going to be using the smaller one, and I'm going to just put these away for another project. And then, of course, you're going to need our card base is Mossy Meadow, and this measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And we're going to start the evening by scoring this. So let me just get my score board out. Here we go. So I'm going to place that right up along the 11-inch side. And I am going to be scoring it at 2 1/2 inches. I'm going to be scoring it at 3 3/4 inches. Then I'm going to jump down to 6 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to be scoring it at 8 1/4. And that's all the scoring we need for tonight. So before I fold this, I want to do some stamping, and I'm just going to take my scrap piece of paper and open this up, just so that I'm going to be doing some stamping off. So I'm going to be stamping this piece. I'm going to be stamping this piece and this piece and this piece. So these are the pieces that I need to do some stamping on tonight. So we are going to be using Cajun Craze ink, and I am going to start with the stamp I'm going to be using the most this evening is the wheat stamp. And so to start with, I'm going to be stamping on this piece of Cajun Craze. And what I did when I was stamping for this card, I started low, and then I started putting the stamp up a little higher as I went along. And then what I did is I filled it in where there were blank spots from me raising the stamps. And then I came over here and stamped so that it went up all the way to the top. We're going to keep using that. Then I stamped the greeting, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." Such a pretty sentiment. And I stamped that right here towards the top. So this piece is all stamped. There you can see the wheat. And I'll bring it down so you can see the sentiment. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. Then I'm going to take this small piece and I am just going to be stamping this back and forth. So we just cover this with the wheat as well. Pretty easy to do. So that can go over there. And then this piece is going to get some wheat on the bottom. I'm going to start by doing the center one the highest, and then I'm just going to tilt it to each side as I stamp the remainder of the image. We still need this for the hello. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment before I stamp the wheat on this piece, because if you remember, I had the wheat at the bottom, but I want to have this stamped first so I know where I can stamp. I just love the font in this stamp set. It is just so pretty. So I'm just going to be stamping the top of the wheat. So now we have all of our images except our hello stamped. So let me just grab that. And when I was thinking about the gems that I'm using, I stamped my hello over to the left, and then I'm going to use like dot, 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 but use the gems for the dot, 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 if that makes sense. Okay, so all of our stamping is done, and we are ready to start putting this all together. Okay, so let's start by attaching some pieces. So one of the things I like the most about this fold is it's super easy. But again, when you do a fun fold, I really think it just shows the extra effort that you've done to make your card, and it just makes it such a special card. So we layered this on the crushed curry. This is going to be layered on the front. We're going to take this piece and layer it on a piece of crushed curry. So I really looked at, when picking out my ink and paper, I really looked at what colors were in the papers that I was choosing to use for this particular card. And I picked out the Cajun Craze in the daisies and the crushed curry in the daisies and the mossy meadow out of the leaves. That's how I decided on my color choices. I just cut these 1/8 of an inch wider than the paper. And on this piece, I am just going to be putting it down on this top piece here. Yeah, I think that's good right here. And then I'm going to take our tag, it's right under here, and I'm going to add this to that front layer as well. Okay, there we go. Everything is attached to what it needs to be attached to. So, to fold this, and here's how you can think about it. So when we have like multiple Z folds here. So you can see that for the inside, I folded a valley, then a mountain, a valley, then a mountain. So my first layer, so I'm just going to start my folding, and I'm just going to go back and forth. So this is the inside of my card. So here it is folded in its 3 sections. And so this inside piece is going to be my sentiment, have a perfectly lovely day. And I'm going to put this over closer to the fold, and I'll show you why in just a minute. If I take my front one, this is only going to be attached to this section right here. And when this is closed, I'm going to want this piece here to cover up that section so you don't see it. So that's why. Now this one, I am going to be only adhering this side. So when I put this in, I'm going to want it even with this layer, but I don't want any, there we go. You can see I want this fold to meet up over here on that side. And now when I close this one, I am going to want this fold to line up with it, but I'm going to want some of this is going to show, and that's why my stamped image is there. So again, I'm going to just put my adhesive on this side, and then I'm going to again layer this on, but I want to make sure I'm even with that layer. Okay, so we've got the card put together. Now it's time to just add that little bit of bling. So I'm going to take 3 of the small faux glass dots, and what I want to do is put them right along. So I'm doing, like I wrote, hello, ... There we go. I just think it looks kind of pretty like that. I could add more of the dots around on the front of the card, but I'm going to add a ribbon, so I think that's going to be more than enough embellishments. So I'm going to go into the Natural Tones Linen Thread, which is another product that will be available on September 4th when the mini catalog goes live. And I just need to get this open. I want to make a double bow, so to do that, I'm going to just bring some of this off, and I'm going to bring it down so I have 2 layers together like this. And then I like to tie my bows right on to, by not cutting anything off the spool. And I'll tell you, tying a bow is the hardest thing I do on camera. There we go. And then I'm going to just tie the ends to make it, pull the ends rather, just to make it a little smaller. There we go. And then I'm going to take my scissors and trim this. So I end up with just this little bit of ribbon that I have to throw in the trash, and a little piece over here. So I'm going to get out my glue dots. And then attach this to the front of the card. And there we go. That's tonight's fun fold using the new Splendid Autumn Sweet Collection with the Autumn Expressions stamp set and dies. So it opens up like this. It will stand like that, and it will fold flat into a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, so it will fit in the standard envelope. So thank you so much for joining me tonight on this edition of Fun Fold Friday. I will be back next Friday night, probably exhausted because it will be the end of the first week of school, and middle school is quite a busy environment. So I will be back next Friday night for another edition of Fun Fold Friday. And of course, I'll be here Sunday night at 7 for the final edition of Changing Leaves Simply Stamping Sunday. So it's the last week we'll be using Changing Leaves. And then next week we are going to start with let me see, I'm just trying to find the name of it. It's one of the new sets that I'm going to be using that goes live. It's going to be called Regal Floral. So I'll be using the Regal Floral set for the month of September. So have a fabulous weekend, and I'll either see you Sunday night or again next Friday night. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.